Okay, I'm back. I think the Livestream got disconnected. I've started a new one. Phase 7. I'll probably go through multiple problems and try to figure out if there is a problem that can be solved earlier, because I think the difficulty will definitely increase now. Time. Okay. Let's try Phase 7 part 1. Hang the cephalop help and factor not pull. You can't help but large. This is a teleporter of one of the diagnostic. It helpfully displays 0h apparently means that there is a issue. Locate a diagram of an input. You enters the menu at the location S downwards. Pass freely through the empty space. Second beam encounter. Beam is stopped. Instead, a new tag continues from the immediate left and from the immediate right of the splitter. Starts to the south. Left and right. So each obstacle will create a two new, what do we say, beams. And will continue. Here the teleporter need to understand the beam splitting properties at the tachyon manifold. In this example, a tachyon beam is split total 21 times. Analyze your manifold diagram. How many times will the be split? Okay. And it's also possible that obstacle can split multiple beams. That's why the answer is not simply the number of obstacles. The beams coming from this will coincide with this. At a time, only the beams in a particular row will be active. We start here, the beam starts here. So at t equals to 0, there is only one beam, which is second row. At t equals to, there are two beams, and so on. Let's start with C++ for this again. Let's grab the input of string. Construct the metric. Each line in the input. After this, compute of row. This is done. Let's also find out is the starting position marked as S. Would be SISJ. Let me assert this found the starting position of IG capital S and SI is good. Let's try 7. Cool. So I pass the input right now. Else the main input. Yeah. So the position just below S is also empty. The that I was start at all. Need a queue. Beams. These are the coordinates in the matrix where the is currently at. This starts at pair, next row and the same column. If you notice, this beam is just below the position where it is marked as S. This is done. Perform this as long as what should be the termination condition? Either we reach last row let me, if there is no obstacle, the beam simply goes to the next column. Sorry, next row. I want to know what happens if the beam uh, emerges at an obstacle. Is that clearly located diagram of the beam does manifest S downwards, passes freely through an empty space. So beam encounters later, the beam is stopped at a new on the right of the center. The input is such that the beam created will land on a splitter. So let's move ahead with that assumption. As long as the beams are present. go beam is present at ij. Check the cell just below it. So right of this. I'll This function will help me find out what side the correct side I plus is a splitter, so cut off this or what I can do is I can simply initialize a beam here, and in the next iteration check whether we're currently at a splitter. If we are at a splitter, we start the new thing. I mean, it's the same thing, but this would be better because we are always checking for splitter in the next row instead of the same one. One else split answer by what do we need to find out? Second manifold in example. How many times will the okay, I think so. One beam when found obstacle or a splitter will increment the answer beams. Of current beams should be replaced by the new beam. New beam. This should happen if the coordinates are valid. This is I plus beam at I, and if particular so this should be enough. Let me try sampling. Answer is 1. Okay, so either we found a splitter or there is a clear path there. So side and non-obstacle. In that case, the beam would simply be created on G. It's 13. Hmm. Try to print. Let me first verify the code. Done everything correctly. Let me set this code. Okay. Still, maybe they are considering multiple beams at a same coordinate, single beam. Be possible. Take that assumption. Set of. Okay. Considering that assumption, that beam, when split, there are multiple beams at the same coordinate. They are considered as a single beam instead of multiples. Since I was using a vector earlier, now I have replaced it by a set, so that should 0. That is correct. Commit this. Input file. One. Let's say what they are asking in part. The quantum tachyon. With a quantum tachyon manifold, only a single tachyon particle is sent. The manifold takes both the left and right each splitter in. Since this is impossible, the manual recommends the many worlds interpretation of quantum. Each time a particle reaches a splitter, it's actually time itself which splits. In one timeline, the particle went left, and in another timeline, the particle went right. To fix the manifold, you need to know is the number of timelines active after a single particle completes journeys. Number of timelines of active after a single journey. So, for example, there are many timelines. For instance, timeline where the particle always went left. Correct. Path. Timeline where the particle alternated left, right at each splitter. Understood. This example, in total, the particle ends up in different timelines. So, is the definition of timeline something like a path followed? Apply the many words interpretation of getting to your different time. End up on different. Hmm, I just to uh, there is one should in we have a single source and we're basically finding out how paths we are going to follow to reach somewhere. mm, that should find out how many paths are there from the starting any ending point in the last row. Some of them also definition of timeline and particle takes split countered. Since this is impossible, the main recommend repetition time itself. I'm trying to whether they are asking how many different unique paths. I think one path will only be traversed once because there is a single starting point and multiple ending points that is traversed always be unique. As so let's say the input was just this much and let's say only the first two rows, then the number of timelines would be one. we arrive at this. But if the input was the first 3 rows, there would be two unique timelines, because the answer for this was 1, and when it got split, the answer for this was also 1, and for this was also 1. But over the entire grid, we need to sum up answers for the last row. This should be unique timelines, or just two different timelines. Some are missing here. Used set to understand where are the beans present. But that is also not required. Do it like this, so probably require a here. So let's make it a vector instead of getting of memory. For this coordinate, the answer is 1. And for any subsequent beams that are created in the next row, so we are creating here places where the beams are created, and the answer for this particular I plus b minus 1 should be incremented by the number of beams from which coordinate it was created. So it was at ij, and really ij is this coordinate, and 1 j minus 1 is this coordinate. Should be incremented by that for this as well. Now let's try to first print out different ways are there to reach the last row of the grid. We dot back, and I also need to sum this, and not required here. Variable down answer plus equals. Let's make this so we got the answer 40. Like we had the Let's try it now. Quite large. Looks good. Called binary. You see, I have commit. Fine. Page commit part. Move on to day 8 now. Okay, let's day 8. Try some other day. Problem. It's fine. I'll go. Equipped with a new understanding of teleporter maintenance, you confidently step into the repair pad, materialize unfamiliar teleporter pad, and find yourself in a underground space which contains a giant playground. Across the playground, a group of elves are working on setting up an ambitious Christmas decoration. Careful rigging, they have suspended a number of junction boxes. Their plans to connect the junction with most of the junction boxes to electricity. By a string of lights, electricity can pass between those two junction boxes. The elves are trying to figure out which junction boxes connect so that electricity can reach every junction. They even have a list of all of them in 3D space. This list describes the position of 20 junction boxes, one per line. Each position is given by X. Save on string lights, the elves would like to focus on connecting pairs of junction boxes that are as close together as possible. Straight line distance. Example, okay. By connecting these two junction boxes together, because electricity can flow between them, they become part of the circuit. After connecting them, single circuit which contains two junction boxes and the remaining 18 junction boxes remain in their own individual circuits. Okay. Now the two junction boxes which are close together but aren't already directly connected are these. After connecting them, since this is already connected to another box, is now single circuit which contains three junction boxes and additional 17 circuits which contain this. Sounds a little bit like disjoint union. You are trying to combine nodes. The ordering would matter if it's in the question. Initially we find 16245, then we use 6231, and now maybe three are connected. Then now which contain one. The next two junction boxes are connecting them. Circuit containing 3 junction boxes. A circuit contain boxes and similar to that unit process in a fixed. I would like to know how big the circuits will be after making the 10 short connections. There are 11 circuits. Circuit which contains 5 junction boxes contains and 2 contain 2 each, and 7 which contain a single junction. Them to your list contains many junction boxes connected to pairs of boxes which are closest together. Negative numbers. Connect to 1000 pairs of junction boxes which are closest. So sample input had 10 iterations, but in this 10 connection, but for the actual input, they are expecting us to 1000 iterations of closest junction boxes combination, and then find out what are the sizes of those. This is like exactly the definition of disjoint set union. Let's use PPP. PPP input. Me get the inputs line by line. I'll probably store this in array of static array of size 3. Inline. At this, I'll probably do this naively. Let's say x0 character ch line. If this is a comma, then the number is constructed, and see, since I'm constructing dynamically, and this should have added a new code xy, one of xyz's. Else, just to like this, it is a digit. Then I will add that particular digit in the number that I'm constructing. It's minus 0 since this is a character, the ASCII value, integer. Else, if this is a comma, the number construction is complete, and since the last number doesn't have anything to the right of it, add this in dots. Need to do back to 0. in one. Should okay. The parsing looks correct. Right. I write down the questions. I'll probably use a template snippets. I need ESU. The simple size of connected component. Grab this. Ted. This large size. Fine size. And let me comment. Questions do. And for the sample input for actual test case. Find out pair of coordinates which have the smallest distance. For now, let for loop plus plus and initialized. It is taking this and constructor or init as chords dot size. Okay. I need to out the value. Add the coordinates into the values vector. Values. I should this as chords and fine chords and I need to consider only unordered pairs. Looking at I plus 1. What else? Let's find out the distance. Write a function. This takes in of let's also assert that their sizes are same. And go over the index of one of. And for the distance, I think Manhattan distance should be fine. Yeah, so because even if you take the squares, relative values of absolute value of 1 of I minus distance less than best updated. You're combining pairs. That should be this reserved keyword. Yeah, this is fine. Let me these two are found out. Assert, or do I need to assert? I mean, we will always find pairs, but one more thing that we need to, because there will only be a single pair is the smallest. This loop will basically select that pair every time. It's not something that we circuit after connecting them. Circuit with boxes that are closest together but aren't already directly connected. So keep the ones that are directly connected. So can them in set ready dot make. We don't need so this will avoid us compute this distance multiple times. This is done. ESU INJ add them in. Done. You need to out the group sizes. That what I will do. There is a simple way to. Bosses are there in a digital set unit. Let's call them parents. Okay. Parents, find their corresponding sizes so that you get the sizes of the number of components that are present. Parents, but fine. I get parent. Once you find out all the parents, you need their sizes. Let's come to the answer here itself. Let's print here. Get size for this parent. Add that in the. Check this out. Size. Look correct. Like if I'm using correct instances sized as I don't this as reference tables outside. IJ and GI should fine. Let's print code. I also need version here for population. Okay, so basically I'm solving advent of code 25 problems. I pasted this link and check out these are programming puzzles. Currently at day 8, so trying to all the problems. There are around 12 problems list. Let's try and debug where we are wrong. Coordinate that was save on string lights. The else would like to focus on connecting pairs of junctions that are as close as possible. This example boxes together are divided and select the straight line distance. Take the square part here. 3D coordinates. Find. Okay, let's forget about the square root part and square was relatively both, not both of them, relative to any other distance between any. Okay. One thing that I got wrong was the distance part. Let's try to get these two merged first iteration. is. Right, some other particular coordinates are the same as the ones that are selected initially. Correct. They are asking us to compute is 5 junction circuit, since 5 junction circuit which can have a circuit which has 4 junction boxes. Clearly that is wrong, and they're asking us to find out the product. Connecting these two junction boxes together, because electricity can flow between them, they become part of the circuit. After connecting them, which contains two junctions, the remaining 18 junctions remaining in their own individual circuits. The 18 come from let's see the order in which they have merged, same as programs output. DB to 41. Five. After making 10 shortest connections, this would happen 10 times instead of uh, just a while loop. Internal implementation, not creating any connection. The 10 shortest circuits. 7 circuits with each contain a single junction. 5, 7. These are correct. And there should have been a list. 3, 10 shortest connect. 11 circuits. Have 11 here. 11 is correct. And did we have 20? Some of the 5, 8, 9, 11. 11 plus 8. I only have 19. Think is this DSU implementation that should be the issue. What I need to do, I need to replace every call to the DSU function with a +1 since I am using zero based indexing here. Pass in +1 everywhere so that for my programming logic it is zero based, but for DSU it is 1 based, so that both of them work equivalently. This one. Since this is already 1 base that I've added, I don't need to edit this. Let's try now. I got 80. I didn't understand what application did they do. Multiplying together the size of the 3 largest circuits, right? Multiplying everything, just the 3 largest. Let's get them in a set. Sizes, sizes, dot. Answer. There is sizes. And this should sample test case. I forgot. Right on the and that I need to update is not sure if this will get time out. Let's see. I can also try out some option. This takes too much. Probably taking too much time. Okay, probably this is too. Let me think of any optimization that we can. I think probably this set be slower. And we are still at part one. I think part two be much difficult. Optimize DSE. Tends to be. And try to remove the dependency. Then what I can do is parent of I plus one, but that is the different thing, right? It says directly connected to be ignored. So that should also not work. somehow we need to optimize this particular, finding the smallest pair of coordinates between the two of nested this nested loops. We need to somehow reduce it. Let me try unordered set here, or let's do a matrix here instead of just uh, using a set which has a high constant time. I'll probably use already constant defined above is 1008, so that should be enough. And let's remove this, and this should be already of ij, and we like this. Let's see how fast this makes. This is slightly faster. I'll probably wait for the output for this instead of moving on to any other optimization. Hopefully this gives me the correct answer, otherwise it would be much time waste. Okay, let's try this. Okay, looks good. For now I'll keep it like this. Maybe for part 2. Okay, part 2 is small. Let's see if it is too difficult, then I'll probably skip it and solve it in the next stream. Otherwise, let's see. Definitely don't have enough extension cables. We'll need to keep connecting junction boxes together until they're all in one large circuit. Continuing the above example, the first connection which causes all of the junction boxes to form a single circuit is between the junction boxes at. Okay. Ideally, I think I have got an idea to optimize this. So we are doing this again and again each time for about 1,000 times. Instead, we could have just computed the distances and stored them somewhere and went over that list. That would have been a better approach. Let's see if that helps for part 2. Continuing the above example, the first connection which causes all of the junction boxes to form a single circuit is between the junction boxes at these. The elves need to know how far those junction boxes are from the wall so they can pick the right extension cable. Multiplying their x coordinates produces this. Continue connecting the closest unconnected pair of junction boxes until semi circuit. What do we get if you multiply together the x coordinates of the. Okay, I'll probably solve this as well and then end the stream. First, let's commit this. So stage, commit solved day 8 part 1 in C++. Post copy main1.cpp. Okay, so I have an abstract idea. I'll just go over the implementation for this. So we don't need to perform any iterations. So let's remove this. This is required. This is not required, but this should be a some while loop with some termination condition, and I will probably extract this outside and store vector of ints distances, and this is not required. This should be distances dot pushback, the distance as well as those coordinates. So dist I and j. Okay, what else? This I can remove, and let's see while true. I need to find out the first pair after connecting which the number of connected components is exactly 1. So those helper methods are already present in DSU. How do I do that? I don't think this is even required. So if we sort the distances and traverse them in the order from left to right, from small to large. So for auto, say DUV or DIJ in distances, we have the distance as Dij of 0, I as Dij of 1, j as Dij of 2. We need to unite them since we are already traversing them in sorted order. We don't need to find out uh, what is the actual order in which we should combine them. The order is fixed. So DSU dot unite I and j. So this should be 1 base. So I plus 1 j plus 1. If DSU dot connected is 1, then I need to find out what were those coordinates. Already have a helper function for that. Print coordinates. It was CI and CJ. Let's also add a found here. We know we don't need to do this. And let's first solve this for the sample input and then I'll figure out. This is main and run on in1. Okay, this should also break. Let's try it on the sample case. Is the answer correct? I need to find out the first one, so let's recompile this. Okay, 216.146.977.117.168.530. Cool. Let me find out the answer here itself. The answer is, let's say -1 just for assertions. And what was the thing that we need to compute? The product of x coordinates. So answer is Ci of 0 multiplied by Cj of 0. Okay, 25272. Let's try it on the larger input. Cool. So yeah, we have solved day 8 as well. Hey Farhan, so yeah, I'm basically working on problem solving. So this is a website called Advent of Code. In this, you get multiple challenges related to programming, and one of the challenges that we just solved. This is if you are familiar with programming puzzles, you are given different inputs, validations that you need to perform, some computations that you need to perform, and get to some answer using code. You also have some input that you are given. So in this particular case, you are given three-dimensional coordinates, and you in short, if I had to explain the problem, you're given a set of coordinates in three-dimensional space, and you need to combine the shortest amongst them until the grouping had a single group. Like let's say you combine the shortest among these 20 pairs. Let's say first you combined, let's say these two were the shortest, then they became one group, and the rest 19 are in their individual groups, and you need to do this continuously until all of them form a single group. And the answer expects that what was the last coordinate after merging which the group was a single unit. So these are the kind of problems. If you see the earlier ones, they are much simpler. So this was like you are given input lnr, which is and integer to the right of it, which denotes how many times you need to shift left or right from a particular starting point of 50. And what was asked in this question? The question was like how many times you go over the number 0, and your dial is only consisting of numbers from 0 to 99. So let's say you have a watch which displays numbers 1 to 12, and you are given instructions to move your move your position either left or right. So moving one left of 1, you land at 12. In a similar manner, there were slightly complex constraints that you need to follow and arrive at the answer. Yeah, these are the kind of problems. You can also go over this one latest. Yeah, hope that helps. Let me quickly commit this solution. Okay, looks good. Solved D8 part 2 in C++. Push. I'll also paste the solutions repository here. Cool. So yeah, I'll end the stream for today. Thank you for joining. Bye bye.